Hi everyone, good day. So for today's morning, I am going to discuss with you the hair and fibers. So ako ang topic lang karon kay is all about hair from lesson 12. Okay, so what is hair? Hair is refers to slender, thread-like outgrowths of epidermis, which forms a distinct type of body covering in mammals. So, ang hair daw, mura siya very tiny threads na nagtubo from our skin. So, I know that every one of us here are all familiar with epidermis. So, when we say epidermis, it is the outermost layer of our skin. So, hair is one of the most common types of trace evidence found at crime scene. So, when we say trace evidence, it is an evidence which helps an investigator to identify the suspect or the victim since ang hair man kay nag-consist siya of DNA. So, next, biology of hair. So, it composed of keratin. So, keratin is strong and very durable protein that makes our hair tough and para po dili siya dali madaot. So, next, it produced from the hair follicle which is developed in human during fetal development. No new follicle are produced after birth. So, our hair is nagatubo siya from the hair follicle, which is a very tiny structure sa ato ang skin. And this follicle develops while we are still in the womb of our mother. So, walay hair follicle na na-form after birth. So, hair shape and texture are heavily influenced by genes. The physical appearance of hair can also be influenced by nutritional status and intentional alteration. So, your hair shape, whether is straight, wavy, curly, or coily ba, nagadepende na sa imuhang genes. So, the genes will be the one to control your shape of your hair follicle para magtubo imong buhok the way nga it's either straight back, kulot, or etc. And of course, dili lang jeans and maka-affect pod kung unsa ang imuhang ginakaon sa imuhang buhok. So, if nagakaon ka og mga nutritious foods, and of course, you will also have a healthy hairs. Pero if always ka nagakat sa imong hair and like nagatina, so the appearance of your hair will change. So, next is the hair structure. Root we have here the root bulb, hair shaft, and tip. So, ang root bulb daw, it is the shape of your root bulb is determined whether or not the hair was pulled by force. So, as you can see from the first picture is what it shows here, the root bulb. So, tira ni mo mabalaan if ang buhok ba kay nabira siya by force or wala kay naaman siya kanang kung mura siya og ugat sa buhok. Okay, so next, hair shaft. It contains the most information about the hair. We have also here the tip, which show if the hair was cut, burned, and if had split ends. So ginaingon diri ang sa tip daw, dira daw makita or kumbaga kanang pinaka lasan gud sa pinakadulog gud sa atong buhok. So dira ma-determine if ang imong buhok ba kay na-cut or nagunting or whatever, na-burn or nasunog and had split ends or kanang kung nagaway or nagsanga-sanga sa dulo. Next, we have here the parts of hair shaft, medulla, cuticle, and cortex. So when we say medulla, the central canal of the hair shaft may be continuous, fragmented, interrupted, or absent. So makita ninyo dira ang kalahian sa upat, which we have here the continuous medulla. Kung makita ninyo dira na ang black jud is kanang wala siya na putol-putol. That is called continuous medulla. Interrupted medulla naman is straight siya na black sa central sa kanal, but sa dulo kay naputol siya. That is interrupted medulla. Ang fragmented medulla naman is kumbaga mura siya og kanang gamay ra siya na medulla, gagmay-gagmay ra siya. So dili siya kanang long na straight. So no medulla, of course, wala kay medulla na makita. So next is a cuticle, the outer surface of the hair, and when viewed under the microscope appears be to be composed of a scale like flakes whichever it is. So di kanang nga picture mo na siya ang naging kanang it shows how the hair looks like under a microscope. So have you also here the cortex contains the hair color pigmentation. Next is the sources of human hair. We have six. So head hairs, public hairs, facial hairs, limb hairs, fringe hairs, and other area hairs. So what is head hairs? The longest hairs of the human body. So we are all familiar with the head hair. So ang atong buhok daw sa ulo mo na siya ang gina-consider na longest hair sa human body. Of course, we have also here the public areas, general coarse and wiry. These hairs tapered, braided, and cut tape. So you know what it means na. Facial hairs were commonly called mustache and beard sa mga lalaki mostly makita. And limb hairs, hairs from leg and arms. Mo na siya. Yung limb hairs ang tawag. Next, fringe hairs originated from neck, sideburns, upper leg, abdomen, and back. Next is the other body area hairs from underarm, chest, eye, and nose hair. Now let's proceed to the racial determination. A human can be associated with a particular racial group on the basis of established models for each group. Forensic examiner differentiate between hairs and people with Caucasoid, Mongoloid, or Negroid origin. So, a forensic examiner now can guess a person's race based on the hair. So, they will look to the hair shape, so color and texture of the hair to see if it matches what typically na makita sa Caucasian or kanang or Caucasoid, Asian from Mongoloid, or mga taga-Asian or Mongoloid or Negroid from the Africa. Next, so this is what is Caucasoid. Muna siya first picture. We have here Mongoloid and Negroid. Next, significance of hair evidence. The evidence processing techniques employed, the method of evidence collection used in the crime scene, the methodology of the hair examination process, and the last is the experience of the hair examiner. So, hair evidence is very crucial in forensic investigation since ang hairman, as I've mentioned earlier, makatabang ang buhok para ma-identify ang suspect. So, upon examination, ang hair maka-provide og information about individuals to determine if it is human hair ba or animal hairs. And of course, ma-reveal sa diri kung unsa ang racial determination sa tag-iya sa buhok. And most especially, upon examining the hair, it also important here na ang expert ang nga mag-examine kanang that they should be kanang knowledgeable enough to do their job. Next is the hair ito ni, hairs have number of innate qualities that make them useful as trace evidence. So it is personal evidence originating directly from individual. Next, it is continually falling from the body. It is easily detected, recovered, and preserved. It is persistent or not and not easily destroyed. So it's hard to hide away and throw away. It's relatively unchanging over time. It varies from person to person, and most especially is it contains DNA. So this is very sabotable. Next, collection of hair. We have here searching for hair. So the search for hair at the crime scene must be done in a thorough, detailed, and precise manner. So looking hair at the crime scene is important for solving crimes, of course. So dapat mag-search carefully para ma-ensure na makita jud ang tanan ang hairs tanan nga naa sa crime scene. So, a detailed search maka-help sa mga investigator na ma-identify if kay kinsa jud gikan ang buhok. Next, collecting hair. Hair discovered at the crime scene should be carefully removed with the use of fingers or a pair of tweezers. It is crucial also na maging maingat upon handling the hair sa crime scene. So, by the use of fingers or a pair of tweezers, maiwasan na ma-damage ang hair, which can maybe can also lead na ma-damage pud ang DNA. So dili na siya magamit as evidence if ma-destroy ang DNA. Maong kinahanglan na upon collecting the evidence is careful jud in order na masolve pud ang kaso. Next is obtaining hair standards. So standard hair samples must be taken from multiple areas of the head, top, side, and back. So thereby ensuring representative shade and the range of the hair. So taking hair samples in multiple areas ensures a representative sample. So a comprehensive sample will give more accurate picture of person's hairs and para pod na ma-improve ang reliability sa comparison na paghahimuon sa crime scene. Next is laboratory analysis of hair. So this is the purpose of examination. First, we have here to determine whether the hair in question originated from animal or human being and comparison of questioned and known hairs. Second is to ascertain whether two or more individuals could have come into contact or whether one or more individuals could have come into contact with an object. So, ang unang purpose sa laboratory sa buhok is ang hair evidence makatabang na ma-figure out if ang hair na nakuha sa crime scene kay buhok sa tao or buhok sa hayop. Then, i-compare ang hair nga nakuha sa crime scene ug ang hair sa suspect. And this will determine if naabot jud ang suspect sa crime scene, alleged suspect sa crime scene. So, then it's stated there also na that hair can also show if two people touch each other or there is someone pa who touched the specific object by examining that object. So, the comparison is the key to solve the case, which makatabang siya sa investigator to connect people to place and things. So, ang pag-examine sa buhok kay isa sa mga paraan sa mga investigator para masolve ang kaso and mahatagan sila og clue about sa case. So, by matching the hair, they can find the truth or they will know what really happened. Next, hair microscopy. So the examination of human hairs in the forensic laboratory is typically conducted using a comparison microscope. It is not considered a conclusive test because it is difficult to establish statistical probability for a particular association due to the lack of reliable quantitative assessment of the microscopic characteristic present in hair. However, this can still help eliminate a suspect from the crime scene. So, ang hair examiner can use a microscope to look the hair very closely. So, they compare hair from the crime scene and the hair of the alleged suspect. So, although it says here na it is not a perfect test because it's hard to say for sure if the hair that been collected are from the same person. So, pero it will help to link the suspect from the crime scene. Next, this is the last one. Okay, methods of microscopic analysis of hairs. First, we have here the parallel mounting technique, dry mount, and wet mount. So, what is parallel mounting technique? Refers to a method of affixing the samples of the slide before the cover slip plays. So, this is one of the method used in microscope to prepare samples for viewing. So, katong ginabutang ang samples sa microscope light na naka-align sa katong parallel. So, dry mount, convenient in terms of preparation. It says here na convenient siya in terms of preparations. I don't have any idea about this, but maybe dry mounting method is kuan lang siya, quick lang, and doesn't requires any special chemicals or mga taas pa na procedures. Next, last but not the least is the wet mount, a special resin used to prepare slides which is close to that keratin of the hair. Maybe this technique uses liquid mounting to prepare slide, and of course, para na mas mapadali na makita ang information about sa hair. So that would be all. Thank you everyone.